Hello, this is Steve O'Brien with Goal College Athlete and also the author of Proactive Recruiting, which is an ebook that helps high school athletes take ownership of their recruiting process, get the attention of college coaches, and hopefully get recruited to play their sport in college. Today, what I wanted to discuss was something early on in the process you have to do, and that's building a target list of schools for you to prospect and try to get the attention of coaches on that target list. So building a target list of schools. And this is important because you want to build a list of, I'd say 10 to 20 schools that are a good fit for you from an athletic and academic perspective. Because if you do that, the coaches at those schools are probably looking for players like you. So you'll be able to engage more of them, hopefully get multiple offers. And also going through that process will help you make a better decision and pick a better school for you that you're going to spend 4 years at. So I think it's a very important part and very important start to the recruiting process is to build a target list of schools. So the next question would be, how do you build a solid list? And I think you first have to do a self-assessment and an honest one at that. You have to, validate yourself and make sure you can play at the level of the schools on your list. So, you want to compare yourself to other athletes, and that means comparing yourself to athletes that you currently play against or with who maybe have committed to a college already. Athletes who are already playing in college that maybe you played against at the club level or in high school that are currently playing in college. And you want to say to yourself, how do you stack up? Are you good as an athlete as them? Or good of a player as them? Are you as strong as them? What are you from a size comparison, from a quickness comparison? Are you as good of an athlete? And that should, give you some context of what level you can play at. So so compare yourself to other athletes. The next thing you want to do is, ask others what they think of your ability and what they think. And this would be, your high school coach, coaches you've been to camps with, club coaches, your parents, other parents, some athletes who you played against who are playing in college now, and you want to ask them, do you think I have the potential to be recruited at the college level? And what level or what division do you think I'm capable of playing? Now, I know this can be a bit awkward, but it's going to give you some good feedback, and you have to take the feedback as a whole. Don't, one person might say you're not going to play in college, and you might not want to consider that answer, but another person might say, oh, you can play major Division One. You have to take all of the feedback you get into consideration, but it should give you enough solid feedback for you to be able to build out a target list. What it will also do is it's a great way to network. You're reaching out to people saying, hey, I want to play college. What division, what level do you think I can play at? Within that circle, these people may know coaches. They may know, a great advice and give you a next step to do or introduce you to a coach, make a referral. So you just never know unless you go out there and start talking. Hey, I want to play in college. What level do you think I can play at? And get all that feedback and take all the notes down. And it can be very valuable for you in the long term in connecting with coaches and programs. The third thing I want you to do from a self-assessment, and it's a must-do, is an academic evaluation. So first thing I'd say is go see your guidance counselor and get schools that you can definitely get into, a list of schools that are 50-50, and a list of schools that might be a little bit of a stretch, all with the sports teams that are at the school that you play, the sport you play. And the reason for doing this, obviously, you want to see where you at from an academic perspective. Can you get into certain schools? But also, if there's schools that are 50-50 or a bit of a stretch, but you're a really good player, the coach of that school might want you, and they might be able to go to bat with you within admissions to get you into the school from an academic perspective when you might not if you weren't an athlete. And that's, what happened to me at UNH. I was probably a little bit below University of New Hampshire, a little bit below their standards, but they really wanted me as a player. They said I was a good kid who would work hard, and admissions let me in, and I was a good student, so there was no issue there, and it usually isn't if you're a good student athlete. Also, if you're a really, really good student, some of the top level and Ivy League schools are looking for Class A students to up their academic index, the team average. They want those athletes because some of the other players they're bringing in are lowering their average, so they kind of got to bring that back to the middle, and so they might love a player with great academic standards to join their team because it raises that index, and you get to go to a great school. So plenty of reasons to do an academic evaluation. So in terms of self-assessment and building a target list of schools, you want to compare yourself to others, ask others what they think of your ability and what division do you think you can play at, they think you can play at, and then you want to do a thorough academic evaluation. And then after you do those three things, I think you should be able to build a list. I'll put a little box down here of at least like 10 to 20 schools. Depending on your sport, it could be 5 schools, it could be 25, but I think 10 to 20 schools is a good amount. And then start organizing that list. Build out a spreadsheet and go into the athletic directories of those schools, pull out the coaches' names and the assistant coaches' names, emails, phone numbers, and build up a nice list. And it's just getting you started for when you can research those schools, and then you start contacting those coaches, which I talk a lot about in proactive recruiting and on the website. And I will create other videos regarding the strategy and execution you need to contact coaches and get their attention. But for now, this is about building a target list of schools and doing a self-assessment to be able to do that. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, please send me an email. It's steve@goalcollegeathlete.com. Running into the other line. And I appreciate your time today, and best of luck in your recruiting process.